YouTube, why are you acting so weird today? Anyway, we're live. It was like I was connected to the stream and then it wouldn't let me go live. I don't know what the problem is. Anyway, I have built my most amazing Python program and I'm absolutely overwhelmed with the results. So much so that I'm really busy today. I got a lot of stuff to do. I have an interview in an hour, which I need to prepare for. I got people I need to respond to or get back to because I've been absolutely overwhelmed and flooded. And all of this is coming from something that I built, which is actually not even that advanced. It's a very simple program. And that's the beauty of Python. It allows you to quickly construct something very easily, very minimal development time, and just simple and fast, right? So this was something that was more innovative from a perspective of me leveraging data that I had available to me. So I'll tell you what it does. So essentially, I built a program that basically contacted 200 recruiters and sent them my resume, and I started running it at 9 this morning, and I think by 10 or 11 I had so many voicemails and emails coming in. I had an interview earlier today, unrelated, and during that interview I got 2 people calling me. I followed up after the interview with someone who reached out to me, and while I'm talking to them I got like 3 different calls. And then I hopped onto another call. I got all these like text messages on my phone. I mean, it's absolutely insane. So the results are amazing on many different levels, but what was required to build this is actually not that complex. Now I'm gonna go over, not in this episode because I'm busy, I got a lot of stuff to do, I don't have time right now, but I've already recorded the development process so you guys can see from start to finish how I built the program and all the functions that I used, all the libraries that I used, so you can build it yourself. Now, this is the version 1 of this program, and I actually just utilize it. It's in production right now, and but I want to make some enhancements to it for future use. So I want to introduce encryption, because basically we're using the Gmail API to actually control your email, so you can actually send an email and things like that. But anyway, so essentially this is what I did. So as you guys know, I'm an old fart. I've been involved in investment banking world for quite a while now. It's been over 20 years I've been in investment banking. So that's a lot of interaction with recruiters, right? I get calls all the time, and I've been many times where I'm looking for new jobs and stuff like this, and it adds up over time. I mean, think about a decade or more of correspondence with recruiters. So just like Google loves their data. That's why it's free, right? They're getting data from the users. Facebook, same thing. So I said, why not get in on the game, right? I've got data. Right? I got years of recruiters that I have dealt with. So first of all, the first thing I start off with is I want to get all those email addresses from every recruiter that I've dealt with, not that's contacted me, but that I dealt with, meaning they contacted me and I made a determination at that time that I want to work with this person, because I get wacky calls all the time, right? And based on that determination, I decided to send my resume. So I'm using the sending of the resume as a signal that says I approved this recruiter, that I felt comfortable working with them. So basically, went through my email. I have an account where I deal with jobs. Sent box. Look for the string resume. Look for attachment, right? So anyone that I sent a resume to, I want to target potentially these individuals. So then from there, there's and I go through the tutorial. The tutorial is coming. It's going to be a 4-part series. So if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe, smash that bell to get the full series. I've already recorded it, and I think it's already uploaded. So I will be releasing that series, 4-part series, going over the detail. But just to give you a summary. So Google has a tool where you can export data from your account, different data, including your emails. I was able to flag the emails based on these are recruitment emails. So I was able to target it in the export tool that Google has. So they export that data to a file. It takes a few hours, could be a few days, depending on how much data it is. They allow you to then download that file. Now I have a text file that's in some kind of Google format. It has a bunch of junk in there. So first thing is that I decided, and I kind of like, my thing was speed. I want to get this thing done. So I didn't spend a lot of time making this thing too clever, too smart for its own good type of thing. I just wanted like utility. Get this thing done, make it work, make it be effective, and get the job done. And absolutely, it's done that. But with that in mind, my first wave of cleanup of this data is pattern matching. So you have regular expressions. Look for the pattern of email address delimited by the @ symbol, right? So pull all of those, right? Now, because of the formatting, some of those email addresses were truncated. So you had like something, something at something, and then that's it. Or something dot, and then nothing after it, right? So I got to clean that up. So basically I said, look for addresses that have like the .com or whatever on the end. And also I recognized that I had a duplicate issue. So you have the same email address, uppercase, lowercase. It looks at it as 2 different email addresses because the case makes it different, right? So I did the lower method where basically I make all of the things. So I have a list of all of these potential email addresses. Make them all lowercase. Make sure they all have some kind of dot, whatever at the end. So it's a complete email address. And then after that, from that list, make sure it's unique. So basically, I iterate through the loop, through the list, and I keep pulling addresses. If it's not in my list already, my clean, unique list, then add it. If it's there already, then don't add it. So now I have a clean list, all lowercase, all unique. Here's all of the email addresses that we got from the data file. Then it's just a matter of due diligence, manual checking, because I got 200 emails, right? So I want to make sure I don't have emails in there that people I don't want to contact. So I sorted by alphabetically in Notepad++, did a quick visual scan and looking at all the domains, and making an assessment. Okay, recruiter. Oh, what's this about? Oh, that's that guy. Okay, I don't want to send an email to this guy. Remove it from the list, right? So I did a final cleanup. I was satisfied with this list of about 200 emails. So now it's just a matter of basically iterating through that clean list of unique email addresses. And every time you go, you're grabbing a new target email address. It's always the same sender because it's me for my account. Same subject. I have a multi-line string for the body. I have the file name of the resume that I want to send as an attachment. So I actually used Yagmail to send the email. I used line cache for sort of crude security because I haven't implemented encryption yet. So when you use the Google API, basically they give you a separate password which you use specifically for this purpose. But it's advisable that you utilize encryption because obviously, first of all, you have to open up your email account in terms of from a security standpoint. So you add a risk vector to your account in terms of hacking and things like that. So with that being said, you definitely want to close that back up a little bit by making your program as secure as possible. So you want to use encryption. So that's the next phase, next version. I'm going to add that. But basically, in the meanwhile, what I decided to do was I use line cache. Line cache is just basically, I got a separate text file with the access tokens, and I can pull specifically from which line I want to pull that information from. So that's all that is. and time, regular expression, you see import RE. So all that's doing is that's pulling the email patterns. So something at something dot whatever. Time is for intervals. So one of the things that I thought about, time and random is for intervals. One of the things I thought about is, I know Google is going to be sensitive to hacking, right? So, and spammers and stuff like that. So I know I'm a lower risk profile for them because all these email addresses are email addresses that I've corresponded with. I'm pretty sure, even though we like to make fun of Google programmers, they have figured out that one of the things you can use to figure out a lower risk profile of a user in terms of using the API like this is, if you're sending out a bunch of emails to a bunch of people, are those email addresses in your address book? Have you corresponded with them previously? I would say if you have corresponded with them, lower risk, much, much lower risk. Because if you corresponded with them, they responded to you. So some kind of dialogue, right? Versus if you've never corresponded with them. So you bought an email list, right? And then you're sending out a bunch of emails to a bunch of people you've never corresponded with. Highly suspicious. I'd put that at a much higher risk profile. Now, without me knowing anything about Google's programming and what they've done behind the scenes, just logically knowing they must have some kind of spam detection tools, I just used a logical thought process, and I said, okay, I got to make this so that it doesn't look too crazy. Right? And I thought the craziest red flag thing is the frequency. So Python script, so it can just, bang out 200 emails just like that. I mean, as fast as my internet connection and the API or whatever, right? So it can look really, really suspicious. It can draw a lot of attention potentially, and maybe I get blocked and they blacklist me or who knows what, right? So what I did is I started with a basic baseline of what is the fastest way that I could humanly do this? So if I'm going to send out these emails, I'm going to genuinely sit down here and write up these emails and send them out. What's the fastest? So I said, what's the fastest a human can type? Now I know 90 words per minute is I almost said per second. Oh man, per second, you're an Android like Zuckerberg, right? But I figured 90 is a really, really high number to work with. I know there's like 100 words per minute, but I just said 90 is good. So I said, at a rate of 90 words per minute, what's the fastest you could generate these emails? 200 emails, how many characters, blah, blah. So based on that, I figured out what's the fastest possible time if I just sit down here and banged out all these emails, 200 emails, right? Then based on that, I added a few random vectors in terms of different intervals. So the idea that I came up with was, I think it was 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and 140 seconds. Don't quote me on that. I think that's what I went with. But the idea is you send out an email, you wait either 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or 140 seconds, and then you send another email. And then you wait either 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or 140 seconds. So I did a weighted random list. So basically, you have the random module where it's picking random items from a list, but the list is weighted. So I made it 10% 140 seconds. So 10% of the time when it's going to send out an email, it's going to wait 140 seconds until it sends the next one. I think I did 50% of the time. It's going to be like a 10-second delay and then another 40 seconds, whatever it is. But most of the time, it's going to be the 5 second and 10 second or something like that. And then only 10% of the time, it's going to randomly pick a 140 second interval. So the idea is it gets a more organic profile. I'm not sending out emails at a rate that's definitely, there's no way a human could be doing this. I mean, let's be real. I'm using an API, but I mean, that's because the API doesn't mean it's automatic, right? I could actually develop a front-end GUI where I'm manually sitting in here and I'm typing up an email, I'm clicking send, and then it's using the API to actually send an email. So just because I'm using the API doesn't mean it's automatic, right? It could be something that's manually done. It's just the interface, the way I'm interfacing with my Gmail is via API as opposed to actually logging into my my Gmail account. So they don't necessarily know what's behind those API calls that I'm sending to Gmail. So I think the biggest thing that they're going to look at is going to be the rate at which you send it. So that's why I made it nice and easy like that. So what are the results? I timed it. I wanted to send these emails out early in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, so that all these recruiters have these emails on their desk first thing in the morning on their desk, right? Anyway, that was the idea. I wanted to be first in, first out. So I because it was late at night, it was like 1 a.m, and I wanted something that was very, very sure to work type of thing. I didn't want to take any chances and try to develop something and it doesn't really work. I wanted to make sure 7 a.m. it goes out. Well, my genius plan of simplifying that failed, not because of the programming, but because of the lack of foresight. My computer goes to sleep at night, right? So the timer goes to sleep as well, right? So I got up this morning, I came to the computer, and I'm like, what's going on, buddy? It didn't send anything out. So whatever, no big deal. I manually triggered the program at 9 a.m, and I've been overwhelmed. My mailbox is filled with email responses. I've gotten text messages from multiple recruiters. I had an interview earlier, which was unrelated to any of this development. And during that interview, I got 2 or 3 calls. After that, I followed up with someone, and I got 2 or 3 calls while I'm talking to that person. And that's just how it's been today. I mean, if I look at my phone right now, and I look at recent, because remember, this is like 200 emails that I sent out. I think the way I paced it out, I think it's like an hour and a half or something, or an hour for the whole thing to go out. So I mean, I've got, I don't want to show people's numbers and stuff, but I don't know if you can see this at all. Can you see this at all? Probably not. But this is the last phone call, and I'm gonna scroll up. That's all the phone calls. That's all the phone calls that I've gotten today. And my mailbox is pretty exciting right now. Okay, so right now I have let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11, 12. I would say 12 or 13 emails. So I started running the program at about 9:32 a.m. and I had 13 emails by I would say 12 o'clock. So not bad, not crazy, but before I ran the program, things were very quiet, right? We went from quiet, I could go a day and one person contacts me or none. I may get one email or none. It's been pretty slow. It's the beginning of the year. That's typically how it is until they get into things. So this has been a 10x change in volume of frequency, and I have an interview in like 50 minutes that I need to prepare for. So I need to end this live stream. But yeah, I'm absolutely overwhelmed. I've got to now. I've put out the bat signal. The bat signal is out. Now it's a matter of I got to start keeping track of all this. I don't want to waste this. So I got to keep good notes of who is contacting me about which role. I actually already got submitted to one role just before I started this live stream. I think there's another one that's pending, but I got to keep track of who these companies are, what the roles are, where we are in the grand scheme of things. So quickly, I want to make sure I respond to everyone that responded, and then I want to focus on preparing for my 2 o'clock, which is coming up in like 50 minutes. So anyway, again, I'm gonna do the full series where I already recorded it. So I'm gonna, it's a 4-part series where I'm gonna go over exactly how I built this, so you guys can utilize it as well. Whether you want to actually utilize it for reals, or whether you want to do it for educational purposes in learning Python. So I will take any quick questions. Otherwise, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. If I sound excited, I am excited because it's not it's and it's not as the most complicated program. I have built much more complex, but never before have I received such value from a Python program that I've built. This is something that I built not, I mean, educationally. I built it for educational reasons. I always like to keep building things to keep, my skills up. But also, I said, kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to work on a program which will keep my skills up. It's a practice, but I'm also going to use it to actually find work. And then I'm going to actually double down on the finding work and I've already done this already. So when I do interviews, and I'm going to do this in 50 minutes, when I do interviews, and this is something that you guys can do as well, right? I think it's a really, really awesome thing. It's been for me anyway. So on an interview that I did today, which again is unrelated to the program, this is something that was in the works already. I actually used the program that I built to help that interview. So what I did is when they talked about Python, I said, hey guys, I didn't say it like that, of course. I said, hey, he's like, can you tell me about your Python? I'm like, actually, I just built a really cool Python program that's running right now. Because while I was on the call and interview, I was looking at the terminal and I'm seeing all these emails going out. I can see the output of my script. So I was like, I'm sitting here looking at fruits of my labor right now. So what I did is I was able to go over the process of this is the full SDLC, right? The full development cycle where you start with the problem you want to solve, and you figure out, how to solve it, what's your strategy going to be, and then you actually implement the solution. And then, of course, you have to debug and figure out what the issues are. You do QA testing to make adjustments. You might want to refactor or just make some adjustments to how it's working. Security concerns come up or whatever it is. And then you finalize the program, and then you do your final your testing to make sure that it works as expected. You do your due diligence. You try to sort of think about how might this go wrong? Like what's my risk here in terms of what mistakes that I make? What's my risk? Like for example, in testing, I used a phony email list because can you imagine me sending out a bunch of bogus emails to a bunch of real people by accident, right? So little things like that. But me going through that process of how I solved it, the things that exactly what I talked to you guys about, that's powerful stuff, right? That demonstrates my enthusiasm for Python. That demonstrates my abilities with Python, what I'm capable of doing. And these are all things that employers really like, and it's so it adds value. So again, it's like a trifecta, right? By me building it, it's building my skills, maintaining my skills. By me building it, it's helping me find work because I'm using the program to find work. And by me building it, I'm doing better interviews because I have something to talk about of look at what I built and how I built it, right? So pretty excited. That's why I sound like this, because I'm super excited that this thing worked. It's doing its job. I'm getting the results in spades, and the motivation. That's also an added benefit. That's why this is like one of my, like I would say, easily one of the best programs I've built. Not most complex, but by the value and also the return on investment, because this thing I built, in a couple of days, I think, off and on. I built it, so maybe a third day, possibly. But so it didn't take me much time to build it. And again, all of these potential opportunities coming in, and also the motivation that I feel from the when you build something, like when you build something and it works, you know what I mean? And you're like, I built this. This was my idea. I had this idea. I could do it this way, whatever. And something wasn't working, and you struggled with whatever. And then you fight it, and then it's done and it works. And it's not just for fun. It's something you can actually use. Like that feeling of like, wow. But then this thing, in terms of the value is so much more than anything else that I've built previously. So that's a motivating factor. So where does that take me? You take all that energy that I feel right now and you repurpose it, recycle it, you funnel it into action, right? Because one of the key parts to being successful, it's all about the actions that you take, right? You can have the capability, you can be very smart, you can have the knowledge, you can even know the right people. But if you don't take the actions required, right? It's all about execution, how you execute, how frequently you execute, when you execute, right? Timing is a factor as well. So in order for you to take the actions that you need to accomplish whatever it is you're trying to accomplish in life, whether it's career, whatever, relationships, you need fuel, right? You need fuel to be able to do things, right? If you're not motivated, if you're depressed and you're all down, right? You just feel down, then you're lacking. See, I get another call. I get another call right now. Okay, I gotta get it on the live stream. So you need fuel to be able to do things, right? The lower your fuel, the less you can do, or I shouldn't say can do, but with low fuel, it's harder to do a lot. If you have a lot of fuel, you can do a lot. If you're super excited and motivated like I am right now, you're just like on fire, like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, right? There's a downside to that too, because that's not gonna last forever. So that's why I'm really, really focused on how can I maximize this energy. But that's another benefit that I'm getting from this. The motivation I feel, the excitement I feel, I am gonna totally not just sleep on that. I'm gonna be like, oh, wow, I feel great right now. So what next? What's the next program I'm gonna build? What's the next project I'm gonna take up? What are the next series of actions? Like, I'm ready to go right now. So that's yet another value that I got from this program. And I'm gonna show you how to build it right here on the Computer Programming University. Thanks for you guys that came in and watched the live stream and clicked on the like button. I really appreciate that. It shows a lot of support. So I'm going to end on this final note. Based on where things are going in my industry and just as far as career-wise, I have come to the conclusion that, and this is a key thing that for you guys that are younger in your careers, you've got to be flexible. You can't be stuck in a tunnel vision. You've always got to be thinking on your feet and thinking moves ahead. So what I'm seeing right now is telling me that my whole plan of focusing on Python, the idea was Python was supposed to enhance my existing package of skills. Right? I didn't want to be a developer. I wanted to be able to develop, right? But where things are going right now, I feel like I really need to go all in on Python. I mean, I've already prioritized it. I spent a lot of time on it. I've been writing a lot of programs. So it's definitely one of the most important skills for me. But I feel that the right move for me right now is I need to go all in on Python. So as you guys know, the reason why I started creating content in the beginning in 2006 when I first started was I'm self-taught and it's difficult learning on your own. And there's things that I struggled with that weren't really explained properly and it was difficult for me to understand. And I thought from the very beginning, that was the inspiration for my content was there's got to be an easier way. There's got to be a better way to learn this. I really wish that they didn't spend, 5 pages talking about all this stuff before letting me know this fundamental concept so I can understand this stuff in context, right? Why didn't they start with this? And then, you know what I mean? So I said, I'm going to do it better. I feel like there's a better way to teach these things. So my ultimate goal was I wanted you guys not to struggle like I did. I struggled with a lot of things, again, based on the materials available. And it was really, really difficult. And I said, there's no reason why it needs to be this difficult. That was the whole fundamental behind how I started doing these videos. I wanted for you guys to be able to learn the things that I was learning, but to learn it faster, easier, and have fun doing it. Because as I always say, learning should be fun. And it is right here on the Computer Programming University. On that note, I now have 30 minutes left to prepare. Respond to these emails, call these people back, and then I got a review for this interview that coming up at 2 o'clock. So thanks for watching. Until the next episode, ciao! I don't even know what to say right now. I'm overwhelmed. So much going on. I'm just going to end this live stream. Click on the like button. Thanks for watching. Ciao! This guy is like, I didn't even have any coffee today. I don't need coffee today. No coffee for you.